Welcome to a Skyrim Addict podcast, where I will discuss my adventures and misadventures through Skyrim. Join me. Add your stories. Add your tales. Let's get into this thing. And welcome back, Skyrim Addict podcast 137. I'm recording out of the studio, obviously. So quickly, this episode you're gonna get part of the charity podcast, Mod Talk section with Victor, Ray, Steven from Skyrim Book Club. I forget who else had hopped on, but that'll be coming up. Also, you're gonna get Victor's thoughts on Skyrim for Switch. I've been playing it myself. I'll record something this weekend about that, and also on the 26th we'll be doing the giveaways for the items from the charity drive. So all in all, we raised over $3,700 for Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, $2,750 directly through our PayPal link, and another $1,000 directly to Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. So those donations are all in, and then we'll be doing the giveaway, like I said, on the 26th on YouTube and Facebook. So you can watch it there. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of this episode. I'm going to finish vacation. Take care.
Hello, everyone. This is Victor from the Facebook group. Michael asked for some of us to give our first impressions of the Switch. And so I thought I'd record a brief little thing here in my usual slow-talking way. So I got the machine a few weeks ago, and the prices finally came down, and I grabbed one over at Best Buy for the manufacturer's suggested retail at $2.99, and then I bought Zelda, and well, I have Prime, so I got the Prime discount. That's the only game I had for quite a while, and I like the game. It's good enough. I believe it or not, I've been around a long time with gaming. I'm 60, so as some of you know, and believe it or not, the last actual Zelda game I played was the first Zelda game ever. So it was weird. We had all the Nintendo systems, and my kids played a lot of those games and everything, but I was always playing on the PC and doing other stuff, doing other kinds of gaming. So I never did play any of the great Zelda games like Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time and all of those that everybody loves so much. So it's been fun. I enjoy the world, but this isn't about Zelda. So, but what it is about is, one of my favorite games of all time, which just came out for the Switch on Friday and yesterday, and that is, of course, the game that's dear to a lot of us, and that's Skyrim. So, let's talk about the Switch and Skyrim. I'm a gamer, like all of you, and so I made the decision early on with the Switch after trying it out on the big screen that it was going to be essentially almost 100% a handheld system for me. I have other consoles. I love the games on them. I've been a PC player mostly for my entire life. So this is finally the handheld game machine that I guess as close as it can come to one that I want. I played on the 3DS, my kids' 3DS and PSPs, and I had a Vita, but it just never quite made it. It was okay, but it just didn't quite make it. Well, I think the Switch hits pretty much all the high points and does it right. The screen's great, it looks great. It's a little smaller, unbelievably, a little smaller than I expected it to be. I guess maybe I wish it was just a little bit larger, but on the other hand, it fits nicely in a pouch. If you take the little controllers off and fold them into a case or whatever, it fits nicely, and it's very, very portable. The battery life is okay. I've been playing Skyrim kind of obsessively since I got it yesterday, and I'd give the thing probably 2 full hours before it starts really getting low. And I guess that's reasonable. It's a bright screen and all. The feel of the machine, I had trouble with the Vita, and I guess I'm getting used to it. It's no worse than any other handheld machine I've played with. The controllers are quite responsive, as always with stick controllers. I turn the sensitivity pretty much all the way down. I do that on all my consoles, and I do it on my mice too. I like smooth response rather than really lightning fast response. So I've done that, and it feels good. One of my big complaints, and this is as an old Xbox gamer through 2 or 3 generations of them, is that they named the buttons X, Y, A, and B, and then they reversed the order. And bloody hell, I swear to God, especially playing Skyrim, which I played a few hundred hours of on my 360, it's driving me insane. And so that's one of my biggest complaints. Did they have to name them A, B, X, Y? Why not some other letters or a few different shapes or something like that? I can understand having named them those letters, they can't put them in the same order as the Xbox because then they'd get guff from Microsoft or some ridiculous thing like that. But I don't know. It's a small quibble because for the most part, the games that people are going to be playing on this Nintendo system are Nintendo games, and so it doesn't really matter. But when you're porting games over from another system that has the same lettered buttons, and you put the buttons in a different order, then you're going to really screw people up. And that's a game specific quibble of mine. Other than that, it charges up pretty fast. It's nicely built. The buttons feel good. They don't feel cheaply made. The sticks feel good. They're smooth. The way it docks is nice. The fit in that slot is really good. It's positive. You don't miss the little plug when you put it in there. The Joy-Cons click in positively. They don't feel loose. They come out easily. I do kind of like the Joy-Con, the sort of ersatz controller thing that came with it that you click them into. I used that when I was testing it out on the big screen, but I don't think I'm going to buy one of the Pro controllers. It's just not worth it for me. So those are my first impressions. Now, a little bit of impression of Skyrim on the Switch. As most of you probably know, who are listening to this on Skyrim Addict, I mod my games. Not just Skyrim. Any game I can mod, I'll mod. So it's actually been really refreshing for me to play Skyrim the way I played it when it first came out and the way I played it on the 360, which of course is, one of the reasons why I'm having so much trouble. But be that as it may, it's fun to play vanilla Skyrim with absolutely no temptation to mod it. There's no creation club. Maybe that's going to come. I don't know. I've tried to do a little research on it to find out, and I couldn't find anything that was actually definitive. So I don't know. But right now, there's no creation club. There's no nothing. It's just Skyrim with all the DLC, and that's great. So I made 2 characters, brought them both out to the exit of the cave, saved there, and then I started playing my wood elf because that's the first character I ever made in Skyrim was a male wood elf. This one I made a female, and I took her straight away from Helgen and headed for Riften. I figured, okay, she's a thief. I won't get into backstories and all that BS. But anyway, I didn't even go down to Riverwood. I just went straight over the mountain, down to Riften, and started in on Thieves Guild stuff. And it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. And so if you're wondering how Skyrim is on the Switch, it works great. It's smooth. The load times are pretty fast. They're not instantaneous by any means, but they're fast, and a lot faster than they were on the 360. It looks good. It's sort of halfway between SE and Legacy. It's not a full SE build, I don't think. It doesn't have a lot of the ambient occlusion and stuff that they added in the special edition, but it does look a little bit better than the original Skyrim did. So it's somewhere in between. It's nice. And I swear I've been finding stuff that I'd forgotten about, or things happen that I don't remember happening in any Skyrim game I've played for years. Met bandits in places I don't remember them being, stuff like that. So that's been a lot of fun too. So overall impressions are good. It's a nice machine. I am hoping, really, really hoping, that Nintendo cultivates relationships with small developers and brings wonderful RTS games like Factorio and stuff like that to the Switch. It's a perfect platform for it, and I know Stardew Valley is already on the Switch, so that's a wonderful game. So little games like that would be awesome to see. I'm not a huge fan of all the Mario Kart and stuff like that. They're great games, but they're not my jam. And so I would love to see some of those small indie titles show up on the Switch. So that's it for me. Thanks for listening, and I hope that wasn't too long. And if you're thinking of buying a Switch, I would say absolutely go ahead and do it. It's a good machine, well made, and well worth the money. Thanks for listening. Hey, we're live.
We are back.
Hey, Stephen, I assume that's you with the books there.
That would be me. How are you today, Victor? Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you.
How's everybody holding up? Like we're at like hour 10 or 11 at this point.
Oh, this is awesome. I could go for another 10 hours.
I'm going to bounce out for like 20 minutes and eat my Indian food. But man, this couch, I don't want to see it for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard jogging in the woods is the plan tomorrow. That's right.
Yeah. Anything but this couch is the plan tomorrow. Although, goddamn Colin got me involved in this Mehrunes Razors quest that I'm now deep in oblivion that he had to freaking mention, and now I'm trolling through this massive underground town. Guys running out of nowhere, kicking my ass, but
Well, Mike Rahulik has got a great system for that. He actually set up a treadmill in front of his rig so he could play WoW while he was running. So, like when his character's running, he's running. He's like, that's the only way I'm going to get exercise. Let's be honest here.
That's very Ready Player One.
Yeah,
right.
I'll be hopping back in a few. I'm going to keep an eye and make sure everything's running okay. But everything seems to be good so far. So,
all right, we'll just say hey. Are we going to start right now?
You can start whenever you like. I'm going to check an update once I'm done eating, and I'll hop in with an update.
Okay. Well, this is Mod Talk. I don't have anything queued up for themes or anything like that, although we did have one, which was really great, that Kyle put together. But I didn't get any of that taken care of. So this is Mod Talk, and my name is Victor. I'm joined today by several people, Jeremy, and an absent Michael, and Colin, and Pat, and
hello,
and Ray, and Stephen from Skyrim Book Club. So there's a bunch of us here. We're going to talk about mods from several games. So the first thing I wanted to ask you, Colin, was that a modded game you were playing there in New Vegas?
Yeah, I'll go and find my Google Hangouts. Yes, that was a very modified game. That is, I was talking to Pat earlier on, and I was having a look at it, and he was saying if Windows 10 update had messed around with my installation of my modded Fallout games, and I was like, no, because I never updated it, and I was like, I think I'm still running. Was it Mod Organizer 2 point something?
Really?
I'll actually check. No, and I checked it, and it's not. It's New Vegas Mod Organizer version 1.2.
Yeah, that. You're better off with that for sure. The version 2 is a little unstable. You don't want to. Yeah, I was wondering because the colors look really nice. I mean, it looks like Nevada skies or whatever you're running in there, and some texture mods and stuff like that. It looks really nice.
Yeah. What I like is the Darnified UI that makes all the lettering and everything all really small and tight and compact, and puts all my UI stuff down at the bottom right hand corners. I can go for more HUD or extra HUD, which one it is. I can move all the places, so I can move the compass to the top of the screen like Skyrim.
Right. Yeah. And there's a sort. Does the Darnified UI include a sorting mod, or is that Valdecil or something else?
No, that's with Project Nevada. So
okay, it's included there. Okay. Yeah, I haven't played enough FMV to really know. I mean, of course, whatever I played had mods involved, but I don't remember all of them. But
we are aware.
Yeah, no, it looked good. It looked really nice.
Yeah, the Project Nevada is kind of like I would say it's probably like one of the overhaul mods,
like a Requiem or something like that.
Yeah, exactly, like a Requiem.
Yeah,
completely overall Percus Maximus takes over the entire game.
Yeah.
Adds explosive entry, adds changes like weapon damage, what you can receive, what you give out. What you find in containers, everything is completely overhauled.
Nice. So, well, we were going to talk, especially with Ray, because there was a question earlier in the week from somebody. Was it on one of the Fallout feeds about Fallout 4 mods? And I had no really good answers because I haven't done a whole lot of Fallout 4 modding on PC in particular, since my last playthrough of any length at all was on Xbox One, so I had a lot of stuff for that. But so Ray, do you have any stuff queued up to talk about for that?
So the big thing for me is that I play Fallout 4 with almost no mods. As opposed to Skyrim, I play with a lot of mods. So yeah, I was a little bit stuck on that one because of how few I actually run.
Yeah, I was kind of too, because I mean the modding I've done in Fallout 4 in particular, I found to be a lot more complex on certain levels than modding in Skyrim, especially when it comes to armor, so to speak, armor and weapons, because there's so many things like the keywords and the Armorsmith Extended, and there's constantly new patches being added to it. It's really complicated to keep up with all this stuff. You sort of have to pick a few and stick with them, and not try to keep updating it, because it's really difficult to keep track. Now, I don't know if that's still the case or not, because I haven't really been looking at the Fallout 4 scene for a while. Is it still like that?
It's fairly settled down. There hasn't been a ton of new big mods in a while.
Oh. Well, that's too bad. I didn't know that. So it's the community is sort of slacked off, as it were.
Yeah, and I think with the lack of any script extenders, it kind of reached a.
Well, there is F4SC. I mean, that's, but it hasn't been updated in a while, I take it.
Yeah.
I mean that came out within 6 months or so of Fallout 4. But again, I haven't looked at it, so I apologize to whoever asked the question, but I don't think any of us really have any great answers. Most of us have been, at least my experiences with it have been the mods I used on the Xbox One, and that was pretty stable experience. I mean, I didn't have any major issues with it. I think Andrew did, but I sure didn't. Colin, have you done any Fallout 4 modding on the PC recently?
No, I haven't played any Fallout 4 in quite a while. I would like to. I think I'm gonna wait until when this is gonna be a sort of like a way in the future thing. When Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, I will be buying a new PC, the one that you tell me to get. I will send you a list of all the ones, the pre-built ones, and you can tell me what I need to add or what I need to take away to get a really, really good build and future-proof it. So, and then I'll order it and then I'm going to add Fallout 4 to that, and then I'll probably do all the modding I possibly can on that. So that's a couple of years down the line.
Well, I think we'll probably have quantum computers by then.
Yeah, more than likely.
I want the next big thing is I read somewhere something that was probably just on a Facebook post, and it was probably mostly lies, where they had connected some guy's brain to Google. So that's what I'm waiting for. Never mind VR. I want plug a thing into my brain.
Wait a minute, connecting somebody's brain to Google was something new? I mean, that's we've all been connected to Google now for at least 10 years, whether we knew it or not.
Yeah, true. But it was apparently a direct link of where he could control the I think certain aspects of something with impulses. So that's what I'm waiting for. So like full immersive mode. Not VR, just like full immersive. Just lie down on the couch and that's it. You're gone.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, again, Ready Player One. Yeah. So, Steven, you're kind of the new guy on our very occasional Mod Talk episodes here. So, what's your experience with modding? Is particularly in Skyrim now. We can shift back towards Skyrim.
I actually been playing Legendary. I didn't even upgrade to Special Edition. I mean, I may. We'll see. Christmas Steam sale or something. But no, I run a pretty light game. Like I've been watching your fits and starts and the behind the scenes one. I mean, you have like 2 screens worth of mods, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever in your mod organizer. I just sort of like I mod for convenience mostly. Like I have a few of the obvious ones in terms of like the high resolution packs and then the patches for them, that sort of thing. But I tend to run more what I would call like utility mods, right? Like I have one that lets me like summon crafting stations, so I don't have to run over Hell's Half Acre. I have a camping mod that lets me set up a campsite anywhere in the world. I have a merchant that I can summon, so like I don't have to agonize over what I'm going to pick up in a dungeon. I just grab it all and periodically sell stuff, so that sort of thing, like backpacks, and then a couple of just crafting related ones. I have auto harvest because I hate stopping to pick flowers, getting off my horse or whatever. And this is fantastic. Although the thing about this mod, like I just sort of one day I kind of got sick of doing that. I realized I'd sat down with the hour I had to play, and I spent like 20 minutes of it like inching along. And I need one of those. So I'm like, there has to be an auto harvesting mod out there somewhere. And sure enough, Google rewarded me. You're going to hate me because, of course, I use the Steam Workshop and just click subscribe. But I do play with the load order. I'm
sorry, it's been nice having you.
Right,
yeah,
right. But I do play with the load order based on some of your advice now. But, anyway, so here's the thing about this. This is just called auto harvest. It's very simple, but it works. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. I've had no crashes, no issues, nothing.
Yeah,
it's really nice. But I have one thing to say about it though. That like. Whoever's out there, if they happen to be listening to this, the book you need, you learn it like a spell and it becomes a power. Same as a shout or anything. The book you need to get is in Dragon's Reach, in the wizard's room. What's this? Farengal? Anyway, very well. It's on his desk and it's stealing to pick it up.
Oh no.
So I've had to so the first time I pick it up, I'm like, hey, you, what are you doing? So this guy runs in and I pay the bounty. And like, I periodically paid like $22 to get this book every time, and then eventually I just started figuring out like, okay, if I grab it and then I get into my menu real fast, and then like run like hell. So like, I love it, but I have a bounty in Whiterun every time I use it.
Yeah. So. Well, 3 squares a day in the Whiterun jail. It's not the worst thing in the world. Right. So, But yeah, no, I've never used an auto harvest, but I mean, Convenient Horses, of course, has a harvest from the horse option, so you can set up a button to do it as you're riding along the road. I will do that, because it is a giant pain in the butt to have to get off the horse and pick the jazz bay off the road or whatever you want. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, and that's really what drove me to get into modding in the first place was I mean, the very first thing, because I'm a backpacker and a hiker and everything, the very first thing that irritated me about Skyrim when I first started playing it in early 2012 or whenever the hell it was that I couldn't camp out. And
right.
So that's the first thing I went looking for, was a camping mod,
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, that's it's the desire to sort of live in the world that drives the game, and also certainly the modding community. So let's see what Jeremy, you've been doing much with mods lately. You're muted and just hanging out there. So I'm gonna skewer you. Are you available to talk about your modding experiences? No, he's not listening. Okay. And Pat, you're muted. Come on, join us.
My mods crashed in New Vegas. So
oh no! Is that what happened with Arthur?
Yeah, no. Well, I just had to go no mods, right? So I'm running no mod. I think it's Windows 10, and it just really hates me, because I was running a very very modest package of mods in New Vegas, and then the Windows 10 update happened, and I had to delete all my mods. So it's.
Well, let's explore that for a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ray. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that wasn't me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, what is that? Because I knock on wood, or teak, or whatever the hell this is here. I have, I get fairly. I gave up and just set my thing to auto update, so I haven't had a single issue with Windows 10 updates and mods. So what do you think is the crux of the issue? Anybody have any thoughts on that? Because it seems to be affecting a lot of people.
I think with me personally, I think it's Windows 10 messing around with my graphics card, which is AMD, and the graphics settings, because my SE version of Skyrim runs fine, smooth as silk, zip in between whatchamacallit, the load screens. Transfer over to Legacy Skyrim with all my mods loaded in. It's like 2-3 minute load screens if I walk into a city.
Okay, that I can say I have noticed. You're right. I haven't had that many instabilities, but yes, the load screens have gotten very long in Legacy. And I'm running an NVIDIA rather than AMD, but yeah. So maybe that is. Anybody else? Ray, have you had any problems with Windows 10 updates?
No, I haven't had it. It never breaks anything for me. Of course, now it will. But
yeah, right, exactly. But yeah, I was knocking on wood. I've heard people have had issues with the Creation Club updates, bricking mods and things like that, and because Steam no longer allows you to turn off updates, you basically have no choice. So since they're not updating Legacy anymore, that on some levels Legacy Skyrim is the safer route. But I haven't had any problems with that. Now I haven't really downloaded any Creation Club mods anyway, except for the survival one, which I turned off. But so far, the game that I was streaming today, which is heavily modded. There's it's not quite as heavily modded as my Testerson fits and starts one that I uploaded to YouTube there. But it's got a lot of mods in it, and unfortunately, I have to use Nexus Mod Manager because it's SE. But it's ton of mods, and yes, Skyrim SE is demonstrably more stable than the older versions. It just doesn't seem to crash a whole lot. It runs smoother. It's faster. Even. I mean, I'm running a lot of mods. I'm running a Rudy ENB, which is it's reasonably easy on the system, but it's still an ENB, and lots of texture mods, and I'm getting solid 60 frames easily. I've got a 1070 in the system, so. But with DX11 or whatever it is and 64-bit, it can address all 8 gigabytes. So that's it's a nice smooth game. I've got to give it that. So how many of you guys have experimented with SKSE 64?
So I'm running that.
Okay. And your experiences with it? You're using the 2.04 alpha now?
No, I just upped it to 2.5 or 2.05 today.
Really? That came out today because I checked it this morning and it was still 2.04. Holy crap! Really?
Yeah.
Son of a gun. And easy transition. I'm just pulling.
Yeah, I just deinstalled it from.
There it is. Yeah, awesome.
Nexus Mod Manager. And then cut out the old DLLs and pasted in the new ones.
Yep. Okay, so let's talk about that just briefly for anybody who's listening who's interested in doing this with their Skyrim SE. We should say, and I was chatting with Pat about this during my stream. I don't know if you did this, Ray, or not, but the sort of I'll call it the quote gopher method of installing SKSE, in which you download the archive from Silverlock, unpack it into a directory, move the loose files into your Skyrim data folder or SE data folder, wherever it is, and then re-archive the SKSE data folder and load that into your mod manager as a mod. And that keeps the scripts that SKSE loads into the game discrete from your Skyrim data folder. It's a safe way of doing this, especially with an alpha build like SKSE 64. So I'd recommend anybody who is using Skyrim SE and wants to play with SKSE 64 to do it that way. Look up Gopher's rather old video now, but still very pertinent on the subject of loading SKSE, and it's very simple to do as long as you know how to create an archive and make a directory. And I think pretty much everybody who runs computers these days knows how to do that. So.
Yeah, I watched that was like a month ago when I set up my new legacy gameplay that I was doing, and it's very still pertinent. Just followed it step by step. He's even got it listed as the SKSE installation episode, so you can go direct to that.
Exactly,
and it'll show you what you're doing. It also helps you discover conflicts within your game as well, doing it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I have to admit personally that since I use Mod Organizer for my legacy Skyrim, I don't do that in Mod Organizer because Mod Organizer keeps your data folder pristine anyway. But since Nexus Mod Manager does not and loads the mods into your data folder, and then when you change profiles, it has to unload and reload things, I definitely do it the Gopher way when I'm using Nexus Mod Manager. So either way, but for SE, I think, especially for the alpha builds like this. I had no idea that they'd even uploaded a new one, so I'll be doing that after we're done tonight. But I'm glad to hear that it didn't affect your game in any way. You didn't find any issues.
No, not at all.
Because if anybody watched any of my stream during the day, I was showing in some cases where, like, for instance, a good example is wearable lanterns. I don't know if you guys have all seen or heard of that. It's in Chesko, I think, is one of his mods. He did Frostfall and Campfire and all that. Wearable lanterns has an MCM menu, but it's not fully, or at least under 2.04. I don't know if this 2.05 has changed that, but under 2.04, the MCM menu wasn't functional. The powers menu that people were using to work around was functional, and it worked just fine. It didn't cause any conflicts. It didn't crash the game or anything. But so there's a lot of mods out there right now that are working. They'll show up in the mod configuration menu, but they won't actually the menu items won't work. You'll still have to go back to your powers button or whatever and use those. But yes, I would absolutely encourage everybody to try it out. It seems quite stable for the most part, and as long as you don't, have the kid in the candy store syndrome and throw 1,000 mods at it and expect it to not to crash. We won't talk about all the other stuff like bashed patches here. I did specifically run certain things in my stream today in order to talk about them a little bit. And one of them was Ravengate, which is Enai Saeon's new arena mod. And I got through a little bit of it, and it's a lot of fun. There's again, I'm not I haven't played Oblivion a whole hell of a lot. Enough. I did play it enough to have been in the arena once, I believe. But it's probably similar to that. And oh wow, sorry, I just I think we're over
the messenger.
Yeah, we're over $3,000, folks. So that's pretty freaking awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't say a darn thing about that, did I? This is all about the CFF. This is all about Cystic Fibrosis Foundation tonight. We are doing a long 12-hour stream of shows and Twitch streaming, all to raise money for cystic fibrosis. So I should have started that right at the very beginning. And so there we are. We've raised over $3,000 so far. So that's pretty freaking awesome.
That beats your record from last year, doesn't it? What, 2,500 something?
Already.
Well done, guys. Well done.
Yep. Several $100s over. Yep. So I'll drink to that. Having my traditional podcasting beverage of choice, the Manhattan. Anyway, so Ravengate is great, and since it's done by Enai Saeon, it's stable and easy to use, and a lot of fun. It's a sort of a it's a fighting arena that's located in the Ratway, and you have to find your way down in there. It took me a minute to figure out exactly what was going on. But once you get down in there, you talk to a guy and you start having fights. And I guess the twist that he tried to build into it, and I haven't had a chance to plumb the depths of it yet, is that he tried to write into the code a way of so that the more you cheat, the better it is. In other words, you fight dirty. And so there's all kinds of things in the arena that you can use. He's got these little traps that you can trigger. If you can lure your opponent around into the right spot, then you can step on the trap and one of those swing gates will come out and whack them and kill them. And or spikes will come out of the wall, or use any kind of dirty fighting tactic you can possibly use.
That sounds fantastic. Like such a dynamic environment that he's giving you to work with, as opposed to just here's flat sand and fight the monster or whatever.
Right, exactly. It's a lot more fun than that. And again, I've only done three fights. So the idea is that once you're at level 5 and you have murdered at least one person in Skyrim somewhere, you'll either get a courier or you'll start finding notes on the bar tops at various inns inviting you to Ravengate in Riften, and when you get there, you'll meet the sort of the impresario of the fighting guild, and he takes you through, and you fight your way up to what's called the Blacklist, and the Blacklist are the elite fighters. I haven't gotten there yet, so I don't know how all that works, but there's a lot of cute little touches in there too, people you meet and stuff. It's a lot of fun. So I'd highly recommend checking it out, adding it in. I believe it's pretty much. He's a good enough modder that it's not one of these things that you have to start a brand new game with. I think you can drop it into an existing save and it'll be
he's
fine.
always pretty good like that.
Oh yeah.
I was just going to say that in the chat, Michelle was just wondering, are you running Campfire and Hunterborn in SE yet?
Yes, I am. Pat asked me to put together a mod list. It's very difficult to do that out of Nexus Mod Manager. You can export your ESP list to a text file, but of course that doesn't include all the mods because ESPs aren't all mods. There's a lot of texture packages and things. So I'm going to try to figure out some way of publishing what I'm using. But yes, I have. It's gotten to the point now, say about a month ago, where I felt like I could recreate enough of the feeling I get from Legacy, like I had in the Manfred Testerson playthrough, that I could recreate that in SE. So yes, I am using Campfire, I'm using Hunterborn, I'm using I Need, I'm using, let's see, I just pop it over here.
Convenient Horses?
Convenient Horses is now available and fully functional in SE. I don't know if you guys, how many of you guys used the first version of it that came out for SE, but it was funny but very annoying. You had to go through this little quest in order to learn all the things. But now that SKSE 64 is out, it's all fully functional, so yes, all of those expanded carriage service. So at least you can get carriages to every major city in Skyrim. You don't have to screw around with that, having to run to Dawnstar or fast travel. I mean, I don't like fast traveling if I can avoid it. So I try to use sort of whatever you want to call it, immersive, realistic things. I'm scrolling down through. More HUD is available, and it's another classic Legacy mod that when you hover over things, it'll show you their alchemical attributes and so on. That's a really nice little mod that's out for SE now. OBIS is out for SE that I'm using. And of course, all of Enis Aeon's mods, Ordinator, Apocalypse, everything. Let's see, Realistic Water 2 has been out for SE for a while. That's great. Run for Your Lives and When Vampires Attack, both of those are out. So yeah, a lot of
they're for wimps.
That's what I don't like having my nice NPCs die on me. That's the
most of them are Nords that deserve to die. Michelle has also said that that's what he's waiting for. He's waiting for a similar feel and look that he has in his Legacy game.
Yeah,
and I've got to agree. We're loving that we have you like such an experimenter and somebody who's so deeply involved in mods that is at the forefront of testing everything, so we can rely on you. We're basically waiting for you to tell us is that, come on one day and he goes, I have an SE Skyrim game that's modded just as good and it feels like my Legacy Skyrim game.
It's very, very close. The ones I'm missing now, I mean, Ars Metallica was one of my favorite Legacy mods was CCOR. What does that stand for? It's complete crafting overhaul remade. It's one of Cryptopyr's mods. She's an amazing modder and very much on the level of Enis Aeon. And I'm missing a lot of her mods. Trade Trade and Barter is another one of her mods that people may not know about, but it's a wonderful sort of economy leveling mod. Trade Routes is a legacy mod that I highly recommend to everybody, but that may or may not ever show up in SE. So there's a few things, but for the most part, I think I can say fairly confidently that you can get a very, very close to legacy experience now in SE. There's a lot of stuff that will probably never show up. But another mod that I was playing with today is a rather well-known and famous huge mod from Legacy called Legacy of the Dragonborn. And that has been lovingly supported and updated and ported over to SE. And if none of you guys have ever tried it, I highly recommend it. That's one that you definitely want to start a new game with. And it's basically, it is the completionist's wet dream. It is everything you can possibly want to collect in Skyrim, plus more that the mod author has added, quests and new things, stuff out of Morrowind. I mean, I collected a bell hammer today, which is a Morrowind item. And a whole bunch of stuff that this guy has thrown in there, and you bring it all to the museum curator, this beautiful building that he built in Solitude. It's just to the right, just before the Blue Palace. It's amazing. It's a great mod, and so that's now available in SE. So that's another way of making it a legacy-like experience.
Michelle's just come out. And what about the alternate start mods? I don't think you would have started playing those games if you didn't have an alternate start option, did you?
No, that's what Skyrim Fits and Starts is all about, really. It's based on the alt start. So yeah, alternate start came out very, very quickly after SE did. It was ported over. It was one of the first mods ported over, and the extension to it, which is called scrolling.
Living out of the life.
Yeah.
It's living out of the life.
New Beginnings. No, the extension to alternate start is called New Beginnings, which adds another 10 or so places to start. And furthermore, I haven't tried this yet, but the mod author includes, I think there's even a video for it, how to make your own. So you can add locations to alternate start.
Oh, that would be fantastic. So you sit back and you have this character concept you want to start with.
Absolutely.
Take advantage of the alt start mod and then just tweak it so that, and then, I mean, you've got all the gear packages and stuff as well through that one. So that sounds like a beautiful addition to that mod.
Yeah, it's great. I've just never had the what's the word? Patience? No, that's not it. I've been too goddamn lazy. That's what it is. But yeah.
Oh, it's not a series of menus. You actually have to do some coding. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know if coding is the best way to put it, but you have to do it. You have to get into the. I think you have to get into the creation kit and add locations. Yeah. But you don't have to write scripts or anything. But you have to know. You have to have a little experience with creation kit and follow the guy's directions. But I mean, most of the original ones and some of the New Beginnings ones all include little spots that the mod author has added. So when you get dropped into a place, especially when you're doing my favorite, aside from the one I use for Fits and Starts, which is the Surprise Me option, my all-time favorite is I was robbed and left for dead. That's like, I love that. So there's like 6 or 7 random locations, and most of them have somewhere nearby, they have something that you can grab. There's the one where it drops you on the road outside of Riften near Dayspring Canyon. There's a person on a horse that's riding away. When you wake up, you sort of get up groggily off the ground and you look around and you can see in the distance there's this person on a horse riding away. And if you run towards them, they'll hop off the horse and run towards you thinking, I thought I killed you. I'm gonna get you now. And if you dodge them around, and then you can run down and steal the horse and run away. So there's stuff like that that's added into the mod. It's great. And that's kind of the thing that if you know what you're doing, yes, and you could do with your own version of it.
Was it Michelle is saying that the one he's looking for? I think it's the one he's looking for is the one that you can completely ignore the main quest. It's the one where you can
Unbound.
Unbound.
And let me just look. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Skyrim Unbound is available for that's the one I used for my my companion's quest line when I did the audio. Yes, it is. It is available. So yeah, go grab that. I love Skyrim Unbound.
Yeah, he also said that his favorite start is the one where he's out hunting in the woods.
Yeah, that's a cool one. That's the
one near Helgen, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it opens up right near Helgen. Yep. Yeah. I use that one when I'm testing, texture, tree, etc. mods. I'll always start there because that's one of the richest places in the whole game. That area between Falkreath and Whiterun. And stuff. So yeah,
that one starts the dragons right away, though. If you want to avoid the dragons, it
does. You're right. It starts Unbound immediately, or you complete Unbound, or whatever that is. Yeah, because Alduin flies up almost immediately.
I like starting in Riften because of the free gourds. Because I can never find enough food when I first start out. I always nearly starve to death.
Yeah, gourds are important. Everybody knows that. I have one on my table right now, in fact. It's fall, Everybody has a gourd.
And it's always fall in Riften. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Autumn. What am I fucking saying? Awesome.
Yeah, unless you have a mod for it. But anyway, there's a few other, of course, all the climate mods, and one that I actually just discovered recently, actually two, one called Dolomite Weathers, which I think was available in Legacy, but it didn't come to my attention until I was playing with an ENB, which had a module for Dolomite Weathers. And it's a really nice weather mod. It's very sort of fantasy oriented. It's pretty cool. People should check it out. All of these things are things, you can throw them in your Nexus Mod Manager, download them, activate them, try them on a save, don't save the game, just run around, look at it. If you don't like it, back right out again, delete the mod, another one called Natural and Atmospheric Tamriel, NAT. That's pretty nice. Both of those are available for SE now. So there's a ton of stuff, Michelle, that's been ported over from Legacy. So it's quite easy to all the immersive armors, immersive patrols, immersive sounds, all that stuff is there. What else am I using? I talked a lot about today on the stream. I think maybe I talked about it when my mic was muted, so nobody was listening. But there's two sort of really nice interior overhaul mods that I've used a lot in Legacy that have been ported over to SE. One's called Skyrim Radioactive, and the other one's called Palaces and Castles Enhanced. So I would recommend also that people go check those out. Skyrim Radioactive in particular is awesome, and that's the one for people who watched my Manfred Testerson game. All the interiors like Bellathor's shop and Angeline's aromatics and stuff like that. All those amazing new interiors came from Skyrim Radioactive. So that's pretty cool.
I had to stop using the immersive patrols because they became a real crutch. Because
I know exactly what
yeah. I mean the Stormcloaks and the Imperials fight, and you're left with all these corpses with just absolute shit ton of loot.
That's right. It's great. I love that.
You say that, but yesterday I was playing a character just for fun, and I came across a patrol just like that where it had happened. And there's this one Stormcloak there, basically like guarding his dead buddies. Like I couldn't get close to him. He would pull out his double-handed axe. I'd back off a little bit, and he'd put his weapon away. But there was no getting in there and looting them.
That's very cool. I've never had that happen.
I thought it was
that's the grave robber.
Really?
Yeah,
he looked just like a Stormcloak to me.
Yeah, no. If you look, he'll be wearing an Imperial gauntlets and Imperial boots and a Stormcloak outfit, and he'll have a double axe. It's exactly what happened with the other guys, where the Stormcloaks and the Imperials killed each other, and he's looting the body.
He's a grave robber. The double axe, right? So
yeah, if you get close enough to him, he says, "Go away, this is my treasure."
I'm not too far from where that happened. Actually, I might go back and put a few arrows in him, and then
I should do that.
I didn't know that. I figured it was a guy just defending his buddies, and I'd never seen that before. So there you go. I just got smarter. Thank you.
One of the things that I'm missing from Legacy into SE are the alchemy mods that have not showed up yet. There's several excellent ones that are still only available in SE. So that's part of the experience. My next Fits and Starts character, which I'm working on, is still in Legacy, and he's an alchemist, so my understanding is that Cryptopeer, who is the author of one of these overhauls, which is a complete alchemy and crafting overhaul, has been working with Chesco to integrate them into Frostfall and all that stuff, and that, I guess that's coming along, but I don't think we'll see that until the actual beta version of SKSE 64 is out. So. But that's one of the biggest things that I miss moving from Legacy to SE, the really excellent alchemy overhauls.
Like sitting in a chair and just eating things like a shaman and seeing what happens. Your bag.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's fun too. Actually, I did something with this guy I was playing today where I decided with him, he's a wood orc, right? He's an interesting character. But anyway, I decided his thing was going to be he's not into alchemy. He's not into all that crap. He's not going to spend a lot of time experimenting. But if he can buy a recipe, he's going to use it. So he's only doing stuff that he can buy recipes for, and that's a fun way to play. So it works, but it's still vanilla alchemy, and I don't know whether Bethesda had bigger plans for the system or not, but it never really felt fully fledged to me. And so there's this wonderful Legacy mod called Alchemy Redone, which adds all these traditional medieval elements to alchemy, from sulfur to all kinds of crazy stuff. And those mods may never be ported into SE. So, anyway, no, I don't enjoy chewing on all the herbs and spices. I will say that with Ordinator, it's a lot easier, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. He's moved the I forget what the perk is called, Experimenter maybe. Mm-hmm. He moved it down the tree, so you only need level 30 or 40 in order to be able to discover all 4 attributes. I always thought it was a little too high in the vanilla tree. I think it was maybe level 70 or something like that. It had several staggered levels. Yeah, staggered. Okay. Yeah. Whereas whereas in Ordinator you get it at level 30 or 40, and you can just get all 4. That it makes things a little quicker and easier
I think that's fair when you consider the game experience, right? Like, I mean, most people are either getting to a certain point in alchemy and then they're just making the 6 potions that they're making that suit their character. Or right. You probably get to the point where, like, okay, I don't want to devote 4 hours of game time grinding the skill so I can get to the end of Experimenter. So I'm just going to go out and look up a recipe somewhere. So I feel like that's probably moving that perk down the perk tree a little bit is a really good balance between like, the game and then just sort of the realism of like how long we want to spend before we can get the knowledge that we want as alchemists, right?
Yeah, I suspect that was the impetus behind why he did it. By the way, I am a Patreon supporter of Enos Ion, and one of his recent posts on Patreon addressed Ordinator specifically, and that is, and so I should probably say this to everybody, he feels at this point that it's gotten a little bloated, and he is going to simplify it. Now, I don't know exactly what that means, but I think he's going to start removing perks. So I would say to everybody, hang on to your current versions, and when the updates come out, don't get rid of the current versions. If you like what you've got, try the new ones and see. But my feeling is he's getting the feeling that it's a little over, that it's gotten bloated, so he's going to start removing stuff from it. So that's just a little piece of news from his Patreon page. And I wanted to say something else, but we're getting down towards the end here. It's 5:06, so we got to make room for Andrew, who's right there. Are you there, Andrew? You're muted, but I don't know if you're listening or not.
Yeah, here I am. Michael, could you do me a favor and kill the one, not the Fallout feed one, but the one that says Andrew? I've logged out of that account, but for some reason it's still got me logged in over there for some reason. Go ahead and kill that one if you want.
That's the one I was talking to. I didn't realize you were.
Only Fallout Andrew was here. Sorry.
The Fallout Andrew was there. Yeah. So, but
what I did say just across the streams for a second to a post Stephen put up is that when I played through the SE version with my last roundtable, when I went through Dragonborn, at the end of Dragonborn, I could take Gelabor as a follower.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, which you can't do, as far as I remember, you can't do in Legacy Skyrim unless you use a follower mod to force him to. But I had, I had like 4 mods on my Xbox version for SE, and you could make Gelabor a follower right at the end of it.
Interesting, huh? Yeah, have you done any more thinking about that, Stephen? Have you sort of come up with a plan? It's a really cool idea.
It's just the end game. So the 20 words on this for people who don't know what everyone else is talking about. I ran into Gelabor for the first time playing Dawnguard recently. I don't know, 500 hours, and I never played it. Whatever, for shame. But I wanted to be a snow elf immediately, and I poked around. There's a couple of good snow elf like overhaul mods or whatever. But the punchline is I wanted to play someone who was like the last snow elf. You've been hidden out somehow. I like the idea of vampirism, and then encountering Gelabor, and then you sort of go on this path of the initiate, and that's sort of where the spiritual change comes. Perhaps when he faces the arch curate, you'll sort of see the potential for what he can become, and sort of turn, and then have the sympathy for the Falmer. I think Juan from the group made a really good point that like you start with the Dwemer, you look through their old ruins looking for information, that doesn't work. You go to the Mages College hoping that they have some knowledge, that doesn't work. You seek out Hermaeus Mora as sort of the Daedra of all knowledge. And the thing is, that's not going to work. So I think there's a really good story to be told there of someone who genuinely wants to sort of reinvigorate his or her people. But and maybe this is the question for you, Victor. I mean, like, unless there's a mod out there that will let me retexture the Falmer as snow elves. I mean, even if they're aggressive, that's fine. But like, unless there's some way to like force the game to do it, it's not a quest line available. So I'm not sure what the end is. I think the arc would be really interesting with the character, but
isn't there a mod that allows you to alter factions? So couldn't he alter that he was friendly to the Falmer?
Yeah, there are a few. I don't know how Falmer are classified. It depends on how they're classified in terms of animals, NPCs, whatever.
Battle goblins.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. So, but as far as I know, and I did some looking around, there, as far as I know, there aren't any mods that allow you to, transform the Falmer into a friendly, more, back into their former selves, as it were.
But it would allow it to move freely amongst them, though.
See, that'd be interesting if you could tweak the factions and get under the hood somehow, and even just make them friendly, or make them see you as an ally so they don't aggress you. Then from there you could sort of finalize the RP. Is it okay? Well, we took away whatever was causing their madness.
I would look at I don't, and we probably don't have time right now because we're coming up on 6. But there's a mod called One with Nature. If the Falmer are classified on that level, you might be able to set them as friendly.
Okay.
So check out One with Nature. I don't know actually if the Falmer are part of that mod. But yeah, look it up and see. That's one possibility.
Yeah,
well,
I'm trying
half
to
of
get
Shakespeare's
Creation
plays.
Kit.
Sorry, Ray. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I'm trying to get Creation Kit open to see if I can dig out the Falmer.
Huh.
Well, I was going to say is half of Shakespeare's plays ended in tragedy. So, if this role play went that way, that would be. You don't have to win, right?
Anybody can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. Well, thanks everybody for joining us for Mod Talk. It was a lot of fun. It's a good discussion.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Skyrim Addict. You can find all of our contact information, YouTube channel information, as well as other shows over at asapodcasting.com, including our newest show, The Fallout Feed. Special thanks to Claire Lafar for the show's artwork. You can find her stuff at etsy.com/MayaFirePrints, MAIAFIREPRINTS. And a thank you to Dan Bull for the use of his music in the roundtable open and close. You can find him on YouTube or iTunes. Just search Dan Bull. Once again, thanks for listening, and later, everyone.